approval of the minutes. Calling Vice Chair Brad Turner.
Mr. Chairman, I've had a chance to review those minutes. I find them in order. I make a motion for their approval.
Okay, motion on the floor, is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is an appointment of a judicial commissioner. This is Wanda Watkins. Is this an announcement or an actual election?
I guess it's a renewal. Now, Wanda's been on there for many, many years.
Okay.
So whatever it is, just recommend.
Well, I'll take a motion to send this to the full
I
commission.
move for her reappointment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we need to fill 3 vacancies on the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 4 applicants for this board. Our first applicant is Mr. Jerry Barrett. Mr. Barrett's in the audience, I believe. Would you like to address the committee?
Yes. My name is Jared Barrett. I currently serve as an alternate on the BZA. Been doing that for a little over 5 years. I've learned a lot from our chairman who's here, Mr. Zane Cantrell, and from the other board members. I've enjoyed serving, and I ask you to appoint me to a full term, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Barrett? Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Michael Rather.
Bear with me, my voice is going. I've been on the board, I don't know how long I've been on, 7, 6, longer than Jared. I've been before the steering committee a few times for reappointment. Most recent was just a few months ago. So at that time I called and emailed, and I think I talked to a couple of you. The only thing that's changed is that I've got a couple more months of experience on the BZA. Everything else pretty much the same. I thoroughly enjoy doing that, mainly because I've grown up in this county, and I want to serve the county in whatever way I can, and this is just the way I can do that. I would like to continue to do that if the committee sees fit and the commission sees fit, and I appreciate your time.
Mr. Riley, just one.
Yes.
Do you serve on any other county boards? Any other
Thank you
appointed?
for just a minute.
Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you. Let me ask the same thing to Mr. Barrett.
Oh, I serve on the county beer board right now.
Okay.
That's the chair.
Okay.
Mr. Zane Cantrell.
It's always good to meet with you guys. And, my real reason for being here again is service to our community and service to our government. I feel really strong about that. And I feel like the years that I've been on the BZA, at least I've made a difference. And the way that I try to do that as your chair is to listen to what people who come before us have to say. Treat them with dignity and honesty and fairness. They may not agree with everything that all the decisions that we make, but if they feel like that they have been treated in a fair manner, they'll go away with their thinking very much about our government. And we try to explain to everybody, we don't just come up with these decisions on our own. We look at what you guys have set forth before us, the requirements. We look at the state requirements and the federal government requirements. And my philosophy is always to follow the law, wherever it leads to. So, and again, I thank you for considering me to continue on the BZA, and if you so decide to appoint me, I'll do the best that I can to continue that philosophy on the board. Thank you.
And Mr. Travis Johnson.
Mr. Mayor, members of the steering committee, I appreciate the time. I am applying to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm currently a licensed real estate appraiser. I've been doing it about 10 years in the county. So I feel like it's time for me to get out of the business side of things and kind of join the community and offer my expertise and services to something like this. I have a very unique perspective on property values in the county. I do a lot of work around here. I'm from Laverne down to Murfreesboro, so I'm everywhere. So I have the ability to take the things that are coming before the board, review them, even drive by the properties, those kind of things. I'm really looking to branch out into the service aspect of the community. I do a lot of volunteer work. I do volunteer with Meals on Wheels, volunteer at the Sam Davis Home, things like that. But that's, on a volunteer basis. But I want to use my skills as an appraiser and my unique perspective to kind of, hone in on what's going on in the county and the various changes that people may be applying for. Again, I think I bring a unique perspective for people who may be coming and, have their concerns with what a certain change in the zoning might do to their property values and things like that. So I believe I can add a little different insight than may be available as of yet. So I am not on a board here within the county. I do sit on 2 boards with the Middle Tennessee Association of Realtors. On their RPAC committee, soon to be their chairman, as well as their government affairs committee over there. So I am familiar with the committee type setting and all that goes on there. So I do appreciate your time and hope for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions for Mr. Johnson? Okay, we have 3 vacancies and we have 4 very capable and good applicants. So the chair will take a motion at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate all 4, and we'll vote for 3.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, so when you're ready, Becky, you call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson,
Mr. Barrett, Mr. Cantrell, and Mr. Rather.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Rather, and Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner P,
Barrett, Rather, and Cantrell.
Commissioner Phillips,
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Barrett, and Mr. Rather.
Commissioner Stevens,
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Rather, and Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner Turner,
Mr. Barrett, Mr. Rather, and Mr. Cantrell.
Commissioner Gooch.
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Rather, and Mr. Barrett.
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Barrett, and Mr. Rather.
Okay, and your 3 names will be submitted to the full county commission at 6 p.m. on Thursday the 13th. We appreciate your application, Mr. Johnson.
Let me just follow up and say, I, on behalf of just me, I appreciate your application. It's hard to overlook you. These other 2 guys have been alternates on that board for a number of years, and I think it's their turn. And I do appreciate you taking.
But he can apply for alternate.
For the alternate, yeah.
There's no alternate.
They're all in that system.
Never took away.
No alternate. That's right, we took that off.
This is one that Chairman Cantrell is the only one up for reappointment. The other 2 appointments are those new positions that we created.
Thank you for that clarification. Next on our agenda is a vacancy on the beer board and an alternate vacancy. We have 1 application, Mr. Jerry Sartain, and you may have in your packet a letter that he is out of town and will not be able to be here this evening. He regrets that. He has been on the beer board, I think, for quite some time.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Sartain serves as vice chair of that board, and he would be here. I know he would,
Oh, yeah.
if he weren't on a long-term planned vacation. And since he's the only applicant, I move that he be reappointed or elected by acclamation.
Okay. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Sartain is, name will be submitted to the full county commission on the 13th. We do not have any other applicants for the
Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Mr. Johnson earlier. He had expressed an interest in possibly serving in this position, and since we don't have any applicants that turned it in, I would move to nominate him to fill the vacancy for the alternate position.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, second by Commissioner McAdoo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Your name will be submitted to the full county commission at 6 p.m. on Thursday the 13th.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, that was good. And that's all on our agenda. Is there any other business?
Mr. Chairman, I've been thinking about all the situations that we've had with the sheriff and the controversy that goes with that, and I'm still working on a proposal, but I would like for us to consider next month at our meeting on our regular agenda an item to allow a county commission or a city council to have the option of suspending without pay an elected official if someone has been indicted. If we would have had that ability a year ago, many of our current problems would have been avoided. And I think that would be something that would be beneficial statewide for cities and counties. And I think it would be a great place for us to start that ball rolling. So if we could get that on the agenda next month, I would really appreciate that. I'm still looking into some legalities and some possible ways to word that, but I think that would really be a practical and pretty common sense way to address issues like the ones that we've faced. And another thing is, I think the citizens would be able to have a recall election. If we could add that to our agenda as well, I think that if the citizens could call a recall election and consider removing someone from office, that would give them more avenues than just the ouster suit that's already provided for in the law.
Okay. So those two items will be on our agenda next month.
Be good, Commissioner Stevens, to have county attorney's office here.
Yeah.
We can.
I hope he will give them an opportunity to review this even before the meeting, which he's done. Mr. Gurley has something in this same area that he wants to possibly bring forward, and Josh has already sort of reviewed that. So maybe all of that together could sort of be brought as one combined discussion.
Mayor, have you spoke to any of our legislators? I know that there was word that legislation is also looking into this.
I have not talked to them. They haven't mentioned this to me, and I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
But we certainly can.
I've heard that they are, at least one of them.
I
is
have
looking
too.
at that.
That's why I was
That's a
asking.
possibility of doing that. So,
I think we need all of them too,
okay.
not just one. So whatever, we need to reach out to them. I think that's totally appropriate in this case.
There was a segment on the news late last week, that the Tennessee, maybe the chairman or the president of the Tennessee Sheriff's Association is also looking into that type of legislation as
also.
well.
Terry Ash is the executive director.
And that's who it was.
Anything else? Okay, if not, this meeting stands adjourned.